everybody. It's Crucible Radio.
Is it though?
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Welcome back.
Psych, we almost got you.
It was close. It was close there. We almost did a completely different podcast.
Yeah, we're going to be branching out into some other new interesting podcast topics.
Podcasts?
Podcasts.
That's the name of one of them, where we talk about our cats and maybe other cats, but it's called Podcats.
Actually,
there is a cats podcast where people talk about their cats.
Oh, I'm sure there's many. For Halloween, like 5 years back, we had gotten a cardboard box, like a perfectly shaped white cardboard box, and painted it to look like an old school iPod with like the dial on it, and then cut holes in it and put it on the cat, and he just walked around the whole house being a podcat. It's great. He's a really good sport about those things.
Another show coming out is Wildcats, the podcast, which is a podcast where me and my band Wildcats talk about our band Wildcats, and that's not even a bit.
Are you guys going to break the fourth wall with regards to Wildcats canon?
Actually, for real, half of the podcast will be kind of a roundtable discussion. We might play games or talk about stuff. And then the second half of every episode is a ongoing musical mystery series called Wildcats and the idea is that there's a new title every week. So Wildcats and the Messy Coffee Shop. And we do a fully improvised half an hour musical starring the Wildcats, and each of them has 5 songs. We've recorded 15 episodes back in November, and this is happening. It's a real thing.
Oh boy.
The Wildcats operate out of Camp Wildcats, where they're camp counselors by day, but sometimes they get called to solve mysteries by the government, and all of the kids at the camp are known as child cats.
All right.
Oh boy. Yeah. Welcome to Crucible Radio, the all
so Iron Banner.
Wildcats deep cuts. In Wildcats, everything is a deep cut because it's hard to follow if you are not a Wildcat.
Circling us back into Wildcats.
I know. Why am I? Okay.
Bruce doesn't want to admit that he is a wildcat.
I am an itinerant wildcat, but not tonight. Tonight, I am an Iron Bannerino.
I was wondering what it was going to be. Iron Bannerino. All right.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, could have gone a lot worse. Iron Banner's back. We got a good old classic Iron Banner control. We got some snazzy armor. We got some snazzy ornaments. We got some guns, I guess. Whatever. You guys having fun?
Yeah, actually.
No, I've been out of town all week. So.
Damn it, Swain.
That's sort of my move, Swain.
That's like, no, I've been playing Iron Banner all week. It's been great.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know what it is. I'm kind of having more fun in this Iron Banner than I've had in a long time. It just feels like it clicks, and it feels like I'm established enough that like I can really like go like have a gear grind. Like I know what I want. I know what ornaments I'm trying to unlock. I know what pieces I need. I can buy stuff as needed. Yeah. And it's not like crazy drop rates like end of D1 Iron Banner where it's just like every game you're getting a legendary.
Yeah.
But I'm finding it to be at a level like you play, good solid 4 games and go get yourself some.
With the lack of random rolls, I can see why it's better not to get a ton of things because you'd already have too much stuff. But I'm having fun too, birds. There is some things that like tilt me a little bit, but for the most part, this is the most fun I've had in Destiny in a while. So it's good.
I'm curious, what rubs you the wrong way in Banner?
I can't. You literally cannot solo queue and expect to get anything done. Like you could do it and have like the fun that comes with solo queuing. But that doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah, this has historically been something we warn about every Iron Banner that comes out. Like, hey, it's really highly encouraged you play with a team. Everyone gets a pass this week because it's tough. We've all been there. I have played many
Historically,
games.
this is when Birds comes in favor of solo queue, and I will, but please finish the thought.
No, I'm giving everyone a free pass. But I personally I've come close where I'm just like, oh, I should just get in a few games. And then a few guys said they would play, and I'm like, no, I'm going to start when they get on, and I'll do that. And I've had a good experience. And second night of Iron Banner, we won 16 straight and logged off. And it was like, hell yeah, that felt great. So
because you keep getting matched with me and my team of 3 people that I'm not entirely certain have thumbs, but they, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, that's probably the roughest part. It's just solo queuing and running into all those teams. But for me though, like there's not a lot of people on playing Destiny right now. So my weird hours that I've been experiencing have put me like right like in the middle ground before like anyone gets on, and like right after everybody like did, if they were home, they've done stuff for a little while and they're like eating dinner. I play when everybody eats dinner. It's pretty much what I'm getting at. It's hard to find 3 other people at that time to play with in my group of friends. So
sure,
it's rough.
I'm not gonna lie, it's tough out there solo queuing. It's definitely challenging, but I do want to say one thing in favor of solo queue. I'll say 2 things. One, I solo queued up against a 4-stack. Check that roster right when it started. I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be tough. And the whole game, it was Legion's Gulch. The whole game, I said, I'm gonna help my teammates out and I'm gonna get some kills, but mostly I'm gonna make sure we're always up on zones. And we trounced this 4-stack. Like, remember, just because people are in a group of 4 doesn't necessarily mean they're good, right? Like, don't get tilted just because you see the 4-stack, because there's a lot of bad people who like to play together in a group.
I played enough Iron Banner games to finish out the one for this monthly Iron Banner, like the
milestone.
The milestone. A lot of that was solo queue. I didn't leave a single one, and neither should you.
Don't leave matches. I watched a dude leave a match. Okay, so one guy left like halfway. He's like, whatever, we're probably gonna lose. Stick it out, fine. Third dude left, or second person to leave, left with less than 30 seconds on the clock. What are you doing, man?
Wait,
what are you doing?
You've now wasted your time.
Home stretch.
Yeah, you don't get anything from doing that.
Yeah, all you get is a little bit of shame because you left. I do want to say that, yeah, when you're solo queuing and you're getting put up against 5 teams, that is rough. But the most fun match I think I had in terms of my own level of play was an all solo queue match where there was no fire teams. And that was great because that was like, I felt like I had a chance to turn it. Like everyone showed up to play. It was a real solid match. Because just like when you're playing in a 4-stack, it is not too difficult to just trounce people.
I will give some advice from my angle of solo queuing, and if someone else wants to solo queue as well, and something to kind of work on while you're doing that. Maybe you're down, like shit sucks. You're gonna lose this match. One of the things I highlight when I am in a bad situation like that, where like maybe my teammates are like just not all together, I purposefully look for like clumps of my teammates and try to go to them and like work in their area on purpose so that we can kind of, we're not able to talk to each other, but I am kind of doing my best to help them with like kills and cleanups and all that. So one thing I do specifically is just like look for a teammate to follow and just like attach myself at the hip for a little while so that it works itself out and we can kind of hopefully turn the tide on our own.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always that moment where it's like, you're probably not going to follow me. You just go where you're going to go. I'll follow you. No, for sure. You got to buddy up even when it's with a bunch of blueberries. There's also, I mean, and sort of alluded to this, but like a tactic that worked well for me is often when you're playing in a 4 set, they will often just roll around the map as a group. And so there's a flank you can do there where you're not flanking them, right? There's 4 people together, but where you're constantly putting pressure on the zone they just moved through because they don't want to turn around and run back to it. And that is, I mean, yeah, when solo queuing and beating 4 stacks, that was the move that just sucks the momentum out of them. I mean, if they're still just wiping your team every time they run into them, not much you can do about that, but fun challenge. But hey, playing in a group is fun too. You should do that. It just works better that way. I enjoy the way they implemented the daily challenges this time. Like just thinking back to like D1 where you go and get the tickets or whatever those things were called. And then it's just like, all right, I guess I got to get my heavy machine gun kills. Like these seemed easily attainable enough that I didn't even notice until I'd gotten them for the most part. But just like the pacing felt right. Like it doesn't take that long if you're playing okay to get them on your character pretty quick. And so I found myself just like cycling through my characters each day and not having a crazy long play session, but still just getting all those tokens.
It does remind me of those other ones where it was like, okay, Iron Banner's starting. I'm going to play this certain way that I don't particularly enjoy until I check that bounty off. And then I can put on my favorite loadout and just go to town and have fun. And it sort of feels like we're free to do that right from the start, which feels really good. And I also just think the reward system, the way it works now, and, it took a rough faction rally to really get this down. But like having all of the armor options there to just pick up, or like, man, I really want that hand cannon. I'm still going to just play throughout the week. But if I don't get that hand cannon, I can just grab it from the bottom and right from Saladin. I feel like it's such a smooth system because you can still have that fun. Like I opened, I don't know how many packages now, but still going like, oh, I got the legs. Oh, I got the scout rifle. It's still great in that sense. But if I'm nothing's worse than end of the week. Like I didn't get any of the new things. Okay. Mm-hmm. That sucks.
Yep. You know what I do? I accidentally turn in everything. Like
of course,
all of my tokens first. And then I'm just like, crap, I can't buy anything.
There's a circle at the top and it says times 22 and you just click it automatically. And I could have saved
just circle through it.
Countless tokens by now, but I just give them to him. I just feel like I have to. If Saladin asked me for like $15 in silver dollar nickels, I'd be like, sure, I'll give you that.
Yeah, right.
Why? I don't know. I didn't ask.
Something randomly selected. Deal. Bonesy, you said the magic word, and I'm curious. What loadouts are you guys using this banner?
Man, I'm having. I'll admit, I'm kind of struggling picking a kinetic right now. I just switch off everything constantly. No joke, I'm having a lot of fun with Rat King, but then it comes to a map where I need some more range. Sure. And so I switch off of it, and then I'm like, oh, what do I do with my energy? It's just all over the place.
If you're going from map to map, I'm definitely adjusting per map a little bit more than I used to. It depends, it really all depends. I will try and push a hand cannon on certain maps that I shouldn't. Mm-hmm. But I've been having some new-ish loadouts. I really like the Frostmire's Hex, which is the scout rifle, the Viced scout rifle that is part of this Iron Banner. It's so good.
I like it.
It's pretty darn good. It's like it's one of those guns though you gotta really push yourself with and be a little bit smarter because it's not gonna do all the work for you. You need a little bit more help.
I mean, my advice for that style of scout or that Vice scout rifle is if you're at range, don't use full auto, tap fire because you can tap it very fast. Yeah, exactly, and it helps with that to like even if you're hitting the same rate of fire to like choose when you land your shots much more consistent. I personally prefer the contingency plan.
The full auto is really good up close.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
When you need to like just panic shoot at someone that's in your face. So
okay, so you've been using Frostmire's. What else?
I use Dire Promise in my kinetic.
Yep.
I will say just a little shout out to this gun that I switched to for what's the castle map and Emperor's Respite. Like rarely do I use an energy scout rifle these days, but I do for long maps, and that's the Metronome 52. And it's got the full auto, and it's just good. It does the job because scouts are not great, and any closer than long range, you risk too many body shots and just not getting it done. But to have that perfect, consistent rate of fire on it is really nice, and it does good work.
Know what I saw earlier that was like it was by Mercules on Twitter. It was like this really good write up about like how difficult it is to balance.
Those, such a good thread. Yeah.
Those types of like weapons, and he like distinctly points out that like if you made scout rifles kill with one bullet faster right now, they would be by and far the most powerful things in the game. And that's just a hint at how hard it would be to, just like make this faster, make that faster, make that faster. And we'll get to it with the TWAB later in the episode, but faster is not the answer for everything.
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, and you got to bring up everything else and then everything else after that. I've been using, my old standbys. I've been using Nameless Midnight, and I don't even care. I use my Sandwasp. I got I was using like Valacaden for a little bit, but it's a blue. I don't care. Sandwasp is so good. But one thing I've not really played with until recently, and I am quite enjoying it, is the Genie Pants, Gemini Jester, and using Way of the Wind on Arcstrider, where you can sprint to get your dodge back instead of like bothering with Paragon mods. And it is a lot of fun. I see why people are frustrated by it. It's been tricky to learn the range at which it triggers. If you're not familiar, Gemini Jester is Hunter exotic pants, and when you use your dodge, it's like the Way of the Wind melee. It stuns people, like takes away their radar. And so great on Night Stalker because you turn invisible at the same time, and very challenging. But a lot of fun on Arcstrider. It's tricky to learn the range. You really have to commit to it, but it works through walls. What? Like to just like know my team is like getting ready to go in and just be standing next to the door and do the quick dodge to get going is funny. It does not make you invincible. You should not run in there because if they see you, they will shoot you. But it's been fun. And it's also, thank you, Dan, for helping me out. It's been fun building an aggressively purple armor set around it to make it all work.
I want the ornament so bad so I can stop being purple. I've had a purple/white hunter for a month now, and it's driving me crazy.
My previous hunter armor was just so Tech Ninja that the color is nice.
I actually, I really like the look of the Hunter Iron Banner legs a lot, and they pair very well with the Dragon's Shadow. So I'm just using that exotic because it looks good. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yep. All right. So digging Banner. Anything else on Banner? Should we talk about what it means to go fast?
I think people want to hear about what it means to go fast.
Oh, long awaited. Well, earlier in the week, I guess before we got to get to that specifically, we did get the January 31st development roadmap. So we see all the stuff that got deployed beginning of January. We see our next release coming up in February, end of February. That's got a bunch of stuff I don't really care about. I guess the exotic repetition reduction, except I've got all the exotics now. And then coming end of March, we've got our sandbox changes. We've got Iron Banner 6v6. We've got our weekly Crucible playlist.
This is what I'm a little confused about, Birds. The March one says exotic weapon and armor sandbox changes. And then up top, it has weapon and ability sandbox changes. But the exotic ones are a little bit aren't confirmed to be in March. Looks like they possibly could be pushed.
These are what are called stretch goals. I can tell you from the industry. These are the things that you tell yourself you'll have plenty of time to do, and then you get to the release date and you're like, yep, we're going to have to do those next time. We'll see. I mean, so we've got a list of feedback here, and this is mostly focused on core sandbox. Yeah, the exotic stuff I imagine is going to be more specific for like, let's get people to use I
will say, March is so far away.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I mean, it's 2018. It was just like 1985 a second ago. It seems like it just flew by.
Yeah, it was just like yesterday.
Yeah, it totally was. I remember 1985.
I mean, I'm sure it'll go very quickly, but for right now, I'm like, I just want to. Can I have it now?
I mean, this is the trade-off with getting a development roadmap where they over-communicate and tell you all those things even when they're real far off. You find out about them long before they arrive. And
I wonder what season 4's color is going to be, because season 2 is bluish green. Season 3 is purple.
Spaghetti red.
Spaghetti's not red. It is only red from the addition of sauce to spaghetti.
Okay, I wasn't talking about raw spaghetti. I mean,
yeah, but
thank you for taking me
you
there.
just said spaghetti.
I want noodle beige.
It's going to be a nice noodly beige. I actually say the reach goals are stretch goals are.
All right, let's rein it back in.
Let's get into it.
Fun thing though, they kind of forgot to put this on the roadmap, I believe. Elliot confessed to just forgetting, but there is confirmed DLC on May 8th to kick off season 3. So we don't know what that means. We don't know. I think all of those leaks about plot and stuff have been proven fake because of the schedule. But new stuff, baby.
I'm going to do my best to hype this one up. It felt like there wasn't as much hype as needed behind the Osiris DLC. So got something coming to May.
I mean, even if you don't care about the DLC, you also get private matches, ranked Crucible, prestige mode, raid lair, exotic masterworks, and maybe mod system improvements. So a busy month in May. Plenty to do.
Okay, folks, the TWAB this week. Sometimes it's not always info, but this time it was a ton. And based on reactions, it seems like everyone's finally really, really, really happy to hear some stuff about the sandbox. But we got a very detailed update from Mr. Josh Hamrick, and he's calling this update that they're currently playtesting the Go Fast update. And here's what he said. Our goals for this round are to provide individual players with more hero moments by increasing overall speed and mobility, increasing the amount of supers you charge to demolish your enemies, and increasing the frequency and impact of our most montage-worthy power weapons, especially in the Crucible. That sounds good to me.
That just sounds like a summation of our Bungie Please episode last week.
Yeah, right.
We were right, guys. We knew it.
I cannot wait to talk about the first 3 items on this list, because boy, do they sound familiar. But before we do that, it's coming. We got to give a shout out to our sponsor this week. Back again, it's Netflix.
Guys, we can't do this show without them. Thank you for the sponsor. And we got to tell you about this show. It's coming up fast, man. February 2nd, Altered Carbon. Now, this show asks the question, what does it truly mean to live forever? It's based on Richard K. Morgan's cyberpunk novel, and it's a hard-boiled detective noir set 300 years in the future. And it's a tech-obsessed world where, much like now, where we can't get away from our technology and we are transformed by it. But this takes it to a step further where you don't have to die. You can just download your brain into a flash drive, I guess, plug it into the back of another body, and boom, you're someone else and you're still alive.
Basically just a flash drive, right?
Yeah, you're basically a walking flash drive.
So do you still have the problem where you put the cortical stack in the wrong way, but then you got to flip it and it doesn't work again?
Constantly.
But then you flip it again and it finally works?
Actually, in 300 years in the future, they prove that to be
they still can't solve that.
A universal law of putting something in the wrong way first and then trying it the third time the first way you had it, and that way it works. It's scientifically proven at that point.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. But I mean, it's kind of crazy because this is not a thing that everyone in society gets. It's only for the rich people. Rich people get to keep living, and the rich people get to have control, I guess, forever. But hey, nobody lives forever, right?
Ooh,
spooky.
Hey, you know what happens? You give rich people immortality flash drives and you plug them into new bodies. They're going to get up to some hijinks. You're going to need a hard-boiled detective to suss out the truth. I'll probably have some nice action moments. And
I thought you were going to say probably going to have some nice abs.
Some nice abs? I mean, if you got to pick your body out with your flash drive, you're probably going to go for the abs.
Cracking open a cortical stack with the boys.
Guys, by the time you hear this, we have not seen it yet, but it begins streaming tomorrow for us, in the past for you. You're already in the future.
Whoa.
When you're hearing
Maybe
this.
you'll have a different body.
Whoa.
Yep. Yeah, they're releasing cortical stacks the next day on Sunday, so get there quick.
No, I thought it was
watch.
just that Crucible stands the test of time and we're popular in 300 years from now.
Okay, right. There you go. They cannot wait to hear about the new update coming out.
Oh, yeah, I can't. I'm sure they can't wait.
Like,
But seriously, this show looks super cool. It's Blade Runner, and it's a whole season long, which is awesome. It begins streaming February 2nd. It's already happened. Go get it. Log on. We'll see you there.
only on Netflix.
It's time
To talk about
All right.
a more near future, right? Let's talk about a more near future where we get to go zoom, zoom, zoom all over the Crucible.
Now,
We got a lot of
Boney, I
bullet
believe
points.
fast.
You had said last week that you thought it sure would be nice if all three glides plus catapult and strafe lift had been
Dude.
retuned and buffed to make them more unique and faster, and a little suspicious that
I
it
mean-
shows up right here.
Us doing like the one critique episode like 4 days before they were ready to tell us about this does not mean that like we had the influence, but it is pretty funny that this first bullet point was like word for word what I was like, oh, this would be good. So
if you want to exist in a world where Crucible Radio puts out an episode where they complain about Warlock jumps, and then Hamrick says, "Get to work, boys. We got 1 week. Make it happen." It doesn't exist, but that's a world I'd like to live in. So,
what we do is
there you
we
go.
wait till the last possible second
Last possible
to
second when
gather
everyone else is
all
completely
feedback.
moved on.
Yeah, and then claim it as our own
We're
statement.
still the best.
Yeah, and so clearly this was the right idea. But all right, let's just start going down these bullet points.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that I think I expressed in the last episode, but if I go fast, I'm going to be reckless again. I don't know if I want to be reckless.
You are, Swain. And you don't have your Twilight Garrison to immediately halt your progress.
I'm going to have to get good. All right, let's go.
I think we got to read the first three of these as a unit because they all interact with each other.
Oh, I thought you were
one-
saying that all three of us at the same time read all three of these bullet points.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
All
The
three
ability
glides
stat
plus
has a
catapult.
range expanded
You guys doing the
and
second
Cap
one?
has been
completely
increased,
retuned as well. And
plus
sure,
catapult and strafe lift.
do we do it right?
Andrew, fix that post.
Based on Richard K. Morgan's Cyberpunk. Oh, crap. Wrong line.
Okay. Mobility stat has its range expanded and been completely retuned. I have to imagine that this is one of those things that like it's becoming like range was, where we just see it as some bar, but it's actually gonna become a bunch of things. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's just your walk speed. But in short, everyone gets faster and the high end is higher. Interesting. And then this last one, I think, completes the trifecta. The player's ground speed cap has been increased, allowing for faster total movement speed, regardless of how you may get there. You do not lose your momentum when you land. Think of the possibilities. I mean, we don't know, but does this mean that it's going to be cowabunga surf time in the USA for all those warlocks?
Ugh.
Maybe. Does that mean Titans are going to have not, spamming the jump button, but get some jump speed boost that they can trigger and just keep bouncing off the ground if they time it right and build up some unreasonable speed?
Yeah, what if catapult is just a nice perk now and it actually gets you straight in one direction, but you kind of lose your ability to control or something like that? It's still used. It could still be used effectively.
There's a dev over at Bungie that created Catapult, and he's just been like pulling his hair out from day one. He's like, I created the most unique jump. I can't wait for everybody to use it.
It's like trebuchet memes have destroyed this.
And they are just not happy. And they're just, this might be the time, like, finally get their day in the light. Come on, I believe in you. It's probably Claude.
I wish I knew what all this meant. There's a lot that's hinted by this. But I mean, I think, yeah, Swain, you made the best point, which is like, hey, everyone who's always out of position all my time on my team in solo queue Iron Banner, now you're going to be able to get out of position even faster. Think of the possibilities. No, I love it. I've grown addicted to transversive steps on my Warlock, just to get that move and way of the wind, just to get that sprint speed. Yeah,
I'm just eager to see what it's like to be a Warlock in the air right now. I think it really impacts my habit, my constant desire to just kind of hop and stay kind of bouncy and stuff like that. And I want my Warlock to be like that as well. And to see the variety in the jumps and just be able to choose. I'm curious to see, I'm probably the only person thinking about this, say for the few weirdos out there, about like, what does a faster glide do to the top tree on Dawnblade? Will we be able to make more aggressive plays in the air? Obviously, this doesn't give us stability and, smooth gunfights, but like, I don't know, we're not going to get like caught floating and die as much. That could be the skill tree I want to use in March. That's pretty cool.
It's appealing for sure.
I feel like in D2, like the Warlock glide really became about not like jumping up, but about coming to a complete halt, falling down, like much more than the other jumps, which is cool for like that couple places in the story mission where you got to like land a big jump. But who knows? I mean, if we get to the point where like in air Warlock with a shotgun is a viable competitive play style, would be a happy camper. And that ties into the next section. Should we keep moving?
Yeah,
Sure.
This line is nuts. Okay. We're going to talk a lot about this single super next, but this is interesting. Arc Strider, Sentinel, and Striker all move faster and at the same speed as one another while in their supers.
Yeah, so any of those like those running mobile supers are going to be faster, and they all move equally as fast. So
that's spooky. Strikers are fast, right?
Strikers are already scary, yeah.
So okay, and Sentinel, I think, can really benefit from this because they already have really interesting tactics where they can do the whole Blade Dancer zigzag thing if they want to, and then they have that quick mobility toss of the shield if they need it too. There's a lot of options there. So when it's faster, that's pretty scary. But Arc Strider, of course, a lot of people have been hoping that this could see a little bit more power. And the next note focuses on this. It says Arc Strider as a whole is performing well in PvP, but mostly due to its neutral game perks.
Yes.
We've made the following changes in an effort to get the super to be more a competitive option.
Oh boy.
Faster attack animations, faster dodge animations, and increased range of all attacks.
Ew.
It's going to be a little arc tornado flying around.
Yeah, I just saw this video recently from Special K Dude. I think he's just made the one other. He made one on Dawnblade. That is like these great videos that are like a combination of a montage, but also sort of demonstrating the subclass and some of the stuff he uses with it. Anyways, he put out his Arc Strider one and got me inspired to get back on my Arc Strider. And I learned from him like the importance of using your dodge when you're in your super to do kind of that zigzag, like you say, Bones, like that Blade Dancer zigzag to close gaps, but still be hard to shoot when you're on Way of the Wind. You're harder to shoot when you're in your dodge. And doing that, I've had a little bit more luck this banner playing Arc Strider with my super. Still pretty tough to make all the attacks faster, make the dodges faster, and increase the range and increase the speed. I'm looking forward to it. I had one moment this banner where it was like I had a truly beautiful Arc Strider super where I don't think I wiped the team, but I got like 3 people. I was just like juking and dodging and playing it right, and it felt so good. And that never happens on Arc Strider. So to see that big boost and have this become viable, I think it's going to be something.
After watching that dude's montage about the Arc Strider, it's like, and I think he was interacting with Nooska on Twitter, was like, yeah, it's really good if like if it got a buff, it would be really, really good. And it's like, ooh, yeah, it's coming, buddy. You're gonna be real happy. But he's out there real happy right now.
Yeah, I like it. I think one interesting thing we might see is that with the increased range of all the attacks, that it makes the I don't know what it's called in the combo, but where you sort of do the light attack and the heavy attack, and you sort of like
the
light,
Darth Maul force push.
Exactly.
Oh,
and,
it's so cool.
To increase the range on that, like past what it is now, that's already a little bit higher, I think makes kind of planning for that as like, well, I'm not going to be able to close this gap, but I can beat him from a distance. Yeah, I think making it more viable in general, and that range boost in particular will bring out, or just like incentivize, like actually learning those combos and kind of pacing your distance and your tempo right to get it good. At least I hope so. Mm-hmm. I've always loved Arcstrider, and I've always made my peace with the super, so I'm excited to see this.
Warrior Monk.
Super important point amongst all of this is that super recharge is just getting flat out increased. So sounds like 2 supers a game is kind of the goal there. I doubt they'd push it truly to 3 frequently. But yeah, I mean, with a much stronger super and happening twice a game, that is now a reason to pick a class. And that's kind of what we like to see, which is like, I'm going to choose this class because of its awesome neutral game versus, I love this super. I can tolerate this kind of neutral game. It's that kind of decision. Or if they're both good, pick them both.
Yeah, I think what you don't see here is any real mention about abilities. And
True.
But this is what I think. And he kind of mentions it later in the TWAB. But I think you're going to get a lot of that from mods when they get reworked. Like you'll see. Did you see all the raid mods, Bones? And how crazy that increase was?
Boost, yeah.
My raid loadout right now is absurd.
You might be able to see some of that from the mods for like the Crucible and stuff. And I think that's why it's taking a little bit longer than obviously the raid mods are taking. Raid mods taken.
Don't hurt yourself.
I've been taken. Anyway, it bodes well for those 2 things, even though they're not mentioned here.
One thing I wonder about is what effect it's going to have on Sentinel. I thought I would like it. I got really turned off by the Sentinel super. I'm the non-bubble version of the super. Because that one, even more so than Arcstrider, because Arcstrider at least has sort of like the in-air smash. Sentinel felt, it's kind of tricky to use. Like I had a lot of trouble closing the gap and getting in close. And yeah, you've got the shield toss. That just, it didn't, I don't know. I didn't enjoy playing it. I never felt like I used my super well when it came up. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, have either of you guys spent much time with Sentinel?
I've been really into Sunbreaker, to be honest, since the last patch. It just feels fun. And then I went back to Striker, and I like that lower tree now because of the health regen on melee. I have played a couple games of Sentinel. I feel like I'm just not made to play that neutral game. I was never very good at it when it was back when it was the Defender. And I can see that super being really fun when you use that exotic that specifically gives you more shields. I thought the shield is like the coolest thing in Destiny, but yeah, it's just not my style.
Yeah, not my style either.
We know Swain doesn't.
No, as soon as I discovered how awesome Sunbreaker still is, it's kind of what I ended up on. Yeah, lots of things here, lots of like reworks for these supers. Let's not forget, I'm going to bring this up until it happens, but let's not forget the cool things that are coming our way for subclasses outside of, reworks. Because Claude teased us with something back in November. Was that November? December? Was it? I forget what it was. Anyway, he hinted at some pretty cool stuff coming to subclasses and your class perks, so hopefully that'll be around the quarter too.
Love it. So we got a whole new mobility game. We've got turning up the knob on some supers. But come on, it's a balance patch. They're keeping it pretty vague here. But they buffed. Oh, they did buff. They buffed real good. They buffed
it real good. Boop,
several weapon archetypes, including but not limited to hand cannons, pulse rifles, sniper rifles, and shotguns, and a few specific perks as well. I wonder what that means. I mean, remember, buff can mean a lot of things, right? Like they could increase the damage, they could increase the range, they could increase the stability, or some of the, aim assist, bullet magnetism stuff. Seems unlikely that they would change rate of fire. And curious to know specifically what they're going to do with hand cannons, given that on mouse and keyboard, hand cannons are in a pretty good spot right now. I mean,
they are.
So, not end of D1 spot where it was the only choice to use one archetype of hand cannon. But all you clicky boys just clicking away on people's heads with those hand cannons. Yeah, curious to see what they do there to bring them up on console or just up in general. I'm
keeping my expectations reasonable for this, at least. One, because they are vague on this. Two, but they say weapon archetypes, so that might mean that they mean archetypes. It's such a commonly used word. It might be high impact hand cannons. Better Devils might be exactly the same, but Bad News is suddenly a contender. And shout out to the people who I do know use Bad News and love it, but you know what I mean. So it could be sort of just to bring in other things in line. There's certainly those, slower pulse rifles that don't see any action, where Darkest Before is really dominant right now. So I'm keeping a level head about that. But the important one, I think, here is that they're really trying to make shotguns, snipers, and fusion rifles more prevalent. I've always thought that maybe just give rockets less and they can go away. But I'm also down for improvements to those guns. I use a fusion rifle quite often. I think Main Ingredient is probably my biggest playmaker in the entire game of any option. So, an improvement to that I'm fine with. But yeah, I do want to snipe more. They mentioned more about snipers at the end of this TWAB, but shotguns and fusions are going to play big in these new power ammo changes, which we're about to get to.
So I think, this ties directly into what I think we talked about last week in our suggestions about how increasing power ammo in play might be a good thing to get those much needed snipers and such back in people's hands. So I'm going to jump to the right. They're going to do respawn times quicker in quick play modes.
Yep. You're going to that last line, right?
No, I'm going to quick ahead to respawn timers, going different in the different game modes, but ammo counts have been adjusted in relation to these timers and in relation to weapon type. So Bones, that's hopefully you get one rocket now that you get rockets all the time.
Yeah, that could be it.
I mean, you have to assume if they're trying to increase the prevalence of everything but rockets, and they're increasing the power ammo, there's no way you're getting more than one rocket, which is nice. I've grown to love baiting out the inevitable rocket, and to know that they only get one shot is
There's also a throwback to D1 here, where enemy players now drop their power ammo on death.
This is huge.
This is
it's been so long.
This is a game changer. This is changing the game, quite literally.
Yeah.
I wonder about this, man.
It's making it so that power ammo isn't always in one location for a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be possibly anywhere on the map that you can get power ammo if someone died with it.
I mean, we talked about this last week. I think this, in all likelihood, is going to sort of, I don't know what the words are, but decrease the, I'm going to try and sound like the way they talk, decrease the intelligibility of power ammo awareness throughout the teams. But
sounds like it.
We'll find out. But basically, you get two boxes and you see in the feed, did they get both? Did we get both? who got what and what do you need to like, do you need to bait out a rocket or should you not go into that tiny room because they have a sword? I think we're going to lose a degree of that, right? Like if that brick bounces around every time someone gets killed, it's going to be a lot harder to keep track of. But who cares? Like, isn't it nice to like go challenge someone who gets power, but is not quite fast enough on their toes to use it and to kill them and not just be like, all right, no one gets it. If I can't have power, no one gets power. And instead to turn the tides and to like incentivize going in to challenge their power, to take a risk. Because even if they pick it up, you might be the one who gets it and can, real quick, launch that panic rocket or sword your way through now that you're in close quarters.
Hopefully all of these changes kind of, come together and create something like much bigger as a whole, where you are having moments where you're challenging that person with power ammo and you're like, I'm going to take this person down. I'm going to steal their power ammo. I'm going to go find the rest of their team and I'm going to kill them too. Because right now, if that were like a 4v1 were to happen in survival, you'd be like, well, I'm going to die. I'm just going to go die so that they don't get supers.
I mean, to that, I mean, it's not directly connected here, but like to that hero moment, right? Like when you're that last guardian standing and they get that power ammo, like this is your chance. Target the one who's got power, find a way to get it. And that could turn the tide. That could be the fuel that drives your last guardian standing. I mean, it's a different sandbox. We don't know if it's going to work the same way, but man, it's there for 30 seconds. Do you know how long 30 seconds is in game? That's like that moment in Supremacy where there's like a pile of 8 crests and people keep going to get them and keep dying. And it's just like the action congregates around this one spot because you want that brick. Give me that brick.
Yeah. And, I do believe that, fusion and shotguns will be popular with this new system. But I was thinking about it earlier and I'm like, well, swords don't even reload. I'm guessing that we're not going to fill our power ammo when we pick up ammo off the ground. I think that would maybe be a little chaotic, and Destiny 1, it sort of worked like that. Swords mitigate that completely, though. They just have the ammo. So if you're playing a game where it's just like everyone throws their body at that brick of purple to get the power advantage, a sword has that ability to just get it and immediately use the sword if someone dove with you. And I feel like it might make swords pretty fun. I'm just imagining like Quick Fang with a lot more ammo, and we're just gonna have stupid little ninjas running around for an entire game. And I might be one of them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's a trade-off, right? Like D1 was for many people tiresome to be about shotguns and use a primary. And we are
use a kinetic and energy.
Yeah, right. And then we all used a primary and it was like, oh, don't use a primary. I hear people saying all the time. Hypothetically.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not? So we're shifting in another way. And it's like, they've had many chances to learn from many mistakes and how, sometimes what you want or what you think you want isn't exactly what you want, or it's hard just to tell how these things will play out. What you really, really want. So tell me what you want. What you really, really want. I want to drop.
I'm not engaging
available
in this.
To anyone. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a chance I might run out of steam and give up, but there also is a chance that I don't. I don't know. I mean, the thing that even if it makes the game a little bit drier and a little less exciting to play, the thing I like about this meta is the meta game. I like the thinking about it. I like planning around power and having things not move so completely fast that you can't counterplay and you can't say, well, they got power and they have this, so I'm going to do this. And I hope this is, it's going to put a lot more power in the field. It's going to shift the balance a little bit towards some of the power weapons. but still kind of keep that counterplay up where it's like they got power, they've got rockets. I've got my sword, so I'm going to push in to try and get the rocket real quick to pull it around and have it be something more than just like, don't come within 20 feet of me or I'm going to slide shotgun you because I've always got shotgun ammo. I hope it takes some of that thinking because it's fun. I like it. You guys want to talk about this shoulder charge thing?
Yeah, last but not least, there's two bigger notes at the bottom that get a paragraph. One is about a bug with snipers that's really, making it difficult for them to fix the flinch. Snipers flinch pretty hard, but they're working on it.
That whole paragraph is basically saying, like, we're going to fix them. We're going to work on fixing snipers, but here's why it's hard. And a lot of times before, it was like, we're going to fix snipers, and that's all you got. But here it's like a little bit of background into like, hey, this shit ain't easy. There's a really deep bug that's making this really hard.
Yeah, and it also just makes sense why they felt a little crummy to me. It's like, oh, it's because there's some kind of messed up deep in there.
Well, and like just the way they said that, like that bug, which we are actively working on fixing, requires some deep changes to the art of each of the individual snipers in the game. Like, okay, like I have no idea what that means. It sounds like you know what you're talking about. So yeah, good.
That sounds hard. Good luck.
I don't know what I don't know what that means. Yes, please. That sounds good.
Give me that.
Shoulder charge is interesting. They did to shoulder charge in D2 what they didn't do to skating in D1, which is this
clipped its wings.
Yeah, like this unintentional sort of style of gameplay that makes use of a feature of something they put in the game ends up becoming a really strong thing. And people like to use it, but it's not, it's off-label usage of it. And yeah, in D2, shoulder charge was shoulder charge, and people were, like they said, you didn't want to use your shoulder charge to hit someone because you probably weren't going to kill them. And you wanted to keep that dodge ability. And so they turned it off. You got to be within range to get the dodge effect. And then they were like, yeah, we probably shouldn't have done that. You said it. We don't like it anymore. We're going to turn it back.
I saw this the worst in like PvE, not so much PvP. Because I wasn't even really like moving around the map a ton with this. It happened, but it wasn't D1 moving around, like changing directions completely. But in PvE, I'd be like jumping from a cliff to a cliff, and I'd be like, oh, I can make that. And then go to use the shoulder charge to clear it and just fall to my death.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about this change until I hopped on my striker and was like, man, it sure seems like I slowed down when I did that. That doesn't seem right. Don't know what that is. Don't like that anymore. Switch back to bottom tree. Yeah, but I think at a meta level, it's good to get this in writing. In the future, we want to embrace the state of gameplay atoms like that and balance around it and not against it. Good. That's the right call.
Yeah,
I like that. Figure out weird stuff to do with the game. Roll with it.
Yeah, not everything's going to be naturally as they put it in the game. It'll just happen how we decide we want to abuse it.
So big takeaways from this, guys. This is obviously wonderful to hear. I think all three of us here are very excited for this. There's by no means any conflict with these changes. I'm hoping they are impactful. We don't know. There's not a lot of percentages here, but I'm excited to see how much they change the game. And in terms of, we've got a couple months to work on stuff until this happens. I feel like my big focus here is close quarters combat. I feel like people are going to be faster and in my face if I don't, really nail my close quarters shots, make sure my melee timing is good. I also just want to get my shotgun play back in shape because I feel like I'm going to use it more, and I got to get ready for the dance, which is how I always described it. That shotgun v shotgun dance was so fun. But I might be a little rusty on that. So my focus is CQC going into this.
Mine's going to be controlling my going fast now so that I don't go as fast in the future when I'm allowed to be as fast. A little bit smarter thinking and really incorporate it into my motor skills that I'm not going to just charge into everything and die. Yeah, that's what I'm focusing. I've been focusing on it forever, but specifically before all these changes.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy swing.
I'm going to be working on my Arc Strider because I like Arc Strider. I love Way of the Wind. I've always liked it. I always felt kind of bad because that super wasn't doing anything. And Night Stalker's so good, but I liked it from the beginning and it just feels comfy. And I have a feeling, it's going to become, it will become annoying. And I want to be part of that annoying squad. With my genie pants and my reckless dodging.
Down to annoy. Well, all we got to do is wait a little bit longer.
Well, boys, we got something to look forward to. And I still have some Iron Banner to grind out. I got some stuff to do.
Need that helmet.
I want that. I need to get the ornament on my hunter cloak so I can get my metal mohawk. I don't know how it works, but I need it. I need it so badly. It's got to be bright purple, too.
I got to bounce because I am going to go do a prestige raid and see how these crazy raid mods work now.
Ooh, have fun. So prestigious.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Prestigious.
I'm all gold.
All right.
Well, support us. Give us your support by going to iTunes. Give us 5 stars. It really helps us find new listeners and entertain more people. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Crucible Radio. We have the one and only Destiny related merch store at crucibleradio.com.
If you ever wanted a Destiny t-shirt but thought to yourself, where am I going to get a Destiny t-shirt? If only some podcast would open up a store.
That's us.
Well, guess what? It's us. I don't know how no one else thought of this idea, but
we did it. The wait is over.
The curve.
We're there. Crucibleradio.com. Look up maps, man. There's lots of maps by the great Relict. He's got all the call out maps for almost all the maps, right? Right, Brad?
How does he do it? Nobody knows. How do you make these maps, Relict? I don't like. He makes them. That's the thing. He makes them in like 2 hours. Like I spent 4 hours coloring in an existing map once.
Loompa Loompa slave labor type of thing here.
Okay, he farms it out. He's got a bunch of
probably a bunch of interns.
Bunch of interns live under his desk. Help him make maps real quick. Yeah, checks out.
They're all painted
shamed
orange.
Relict. They're primo, and hey, we tweet them out every time there's a trials map. So you are prepared. You know what them call outs are. We do well.
That's it.
Till next time.
See you later.
Bye. I love you.
Prestige!
Having the same conversation, and I can't take this anymore. Too many years we've been running around in circles. It always leads us back to you. 'Cause you won't make your mind up now. 'Cause who knows what you're really thinking. I don't know if you're in or out. 'Cause I know what I'm feeling. Make your mind up now.
Ladies and gentlemen, listeners of Crucible Radio, it's been a long time coming. From our very own engineer Andrew, this is Loyals.
It's not me, then
Go check them out. Loyalsband.com. Find them on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Music. Their new album is out. It's a hot one. Show them some love. Loyals. Loyalsband.com.
'Cause you won't make your mind up now. 'Cause who knows what you're really thinking. I don't know if you're in or out. 'Cause I know what I'm feeling. Make your mind up now. 'Cause all this time we spent together just been wasted. Or was it real enough for you to wanna save it? Too many years we've been running around in circles. It always leads us back to you. 'Cause you won't make your mind up now. 'Cause
What's up, everyone? Bones here. Do you like podcasts? Do you like chill conversation? Well, me and my co-hosts Swain and Birds put out a bonus podcast every month on Patreon. If you want to check it out and be a part of more awesome stuff, head over to patreon.com/Crucible Radio and join the squad. See you there.